Good evening. Welcome to another petulant version of Diatribes from the voice of Doom. Now here's your perturbed and persnickety host, voice of Doom. Alright, I'm back. I wasn't planning on doing much today. It's 11:39 p.m. Pacific Standard, or whatever. And life's been good. I'm very grateful to the universe for helping me get through my times of trouble. But that doesn't mean that trouble doesn't continue. Now, for one thing, the cat that got injured has now disappeared. So we're fearing the worst. And I don't even know how old the cat is, but I don't think we're going to see her again. Issue 2 is I'm drinking twisted tea out of a can, because I thought, well, I'm going to get my angst out on a diatribe. And I have a couple shots of Evan Williams stashed away. But my number one son, Max, seems to have found it. And I find an empty bottle in my drawer, and I went and told him I do not put empty bottles back in drawers. And he gave me a blank stare, and I walked away because I don't want to make a big, huge, hairy deal out of that. So he goes through my drawers and steals whatever liquor I have left. I'm not going to let that ruin my life. But if I hadn't have bought this, I might have been more pissed. So I'll do a diatribe. I was planning on doing something a little more educational and historical, but I'm not going to, because that's going to take a little time, and I just want to rant right now. Now, I live in northern Nevada, and if you were going to try to find a geographical location in what used to be United States that represents everything that Petri dish and the wokesters and all that tribe hate, it would be Carson City and its environs. Because everyone I run into, first of all, they're white. All of them are white. I'm sorry. We couldn't be more diverse. But they're all white, and they're all cisgendered males, and they all have a chip on their shoulder, and I understand why, but these guys get a little extreme from me. And then they try to explain to me how bad the world and this used to be country is going. They try to tell me how bad things are. And I have to listen patiently and patronizingly and condescendingly to their rantings, because they don't watch my diatribes, and I've told them I have a YouTube channel, and they're supposed to be friends, but they don't watch. Only Nick watches. He's the only one. And the rest of them have to tell me what's going on with the country. It's laughable. But since I'm on a higher plane than these people, I'm a Buddhist, and I listen to them, and I don't say much. And when I do say something, it's usually kind of trying to placate them, even though they're racist Nazis, conspiracy theorists. I try not to confront people with their opinions, because I know they're frustrated. I know that they're alone. I know that they are looking for someone to blame for their miserable life. So I run into people, and I'm not going to lump them all into this same group that they're all miserable. or this or that. They have all different lives. They've come from different backgrounds. But they are Qanons, and they believe in that the powers that be are having human sacrifice and eating babies and living off the blood of virgins. And they believe it. And they believe in things like what we're seeing isn't actually happening because half the people that we're seeing have already died. So they'll tell me that Queen Elizabeth died like 5 years ago, and we're seeing some sort of a Photoshop apparition, or they'll tell me all kinds of things because the Qs believe in all kinds of weird conspiracy theories, and some of which I can accept, and some of which, if ever the common clay got wind of, then all hell would break loose. But they're not going to get wind of anything like that. Whatever's going on might have been going on forever. Devil worship, Satanism, human sacrifice, whatever. And then today I'm playing at the casino because as you know, I kind of won some money, so I had extra money to play with. And a person who is a nice guy was drunk, and he started ranting at me about how bad the country's going, and I'm kind of like, I can't believe you're actually telling me this. You've got no idea, and no matter how bad he describes it, it's worse. And I try to fit in a word in edgewise, but talking to a drunken person about politics is a hopeless endeavor. But this guy's like a real Nazi, and he's blaming the Jews for everything. And he's saying there's a cabal of Jewry which is controlling the world, and they're the devil, and blah, 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 blah. And all religion is the devil, and all religion is bunk. And I say, well, I don't have a dog in that fight. I'm a Buddhist. And it's like, all religion is crap. But the guy isn't totally, I'm not going to say I agree with him. I just say when he gets really drunk, he starts to sound like Heinrich Himmler, and it's kind of uncomfortable for me. But this is what I put up with in northern Nevada because they know my philosophy. They know that I've been talking about the end of the world and the end of this country for decades. So now that it's actually happening, they have to come up to me and talk. And I say, well, I just said this in a diatribe a few days ago or a few weeks ago, or I've been saying that they don't watch. They don't care what I think. I put a lot of time and trouble into these diatribes. So if you watch them from beginning to end, you would learn everything about what there is to learn about how this universe works. Life, death, and everything else. And you'd be entertained, and you'd learn a few other snippets of factoids about things you probably didn't know. And I'm not saying I'm a genius. I'm no Victor Davis Hanson. I'm no Jordan Peterson. But I have my own little shtick that I got going. So when I hear these denizens of northern Nevada come up to me and explain to me how bad the country used to be, is doing, I have to just kind of let my eyelids go down halfway and keep playing my machine and offer a sentence or two every 5 or 10 minutes and listen to their ranting, thinking that it's sad because these guys are looking for people to blame for their own miserable lives. And they are alcoholics, and they're probably gambling addicts, and they're single, and they're in their late 30s, early 40s. Or maybe they're in their 60s, but they've already been divorced and all this other stuff. So in my book, they basically failed at what they tried to do. So it's just as well they don't even watch my diatribes, because they'll know who I'm talking about, and they won't like it. I've lived a full life. If I die tomorrow, I could say I accomplished stuff and I kept my promise. Through thick and thin, when they say till death and they say through better or worse, then that means through better or worse. So I don't want to start crying crocodile tears for these guys that are trying to blame the Jews and blame everybody else for why their life is miserable. And I try to say, yeah, the end is coming and it's going to be worse than you can possibly imagine. And they're imagining the worst. And I say it's going to be worse than you think. And you won't be able to handle it. Well, I got my guns. If shit hits the fan, I'm going to take everybody out. It's like, yeah, you're going to kill a bunch of innocent people and then kill yourself or wait to be shot by a SWAT team? You know, it gets a little annoying. It's like, well, if you're going to take out people, at least make it count. But I deal with these people all the time. And I feel torn between wanting to say I'm offended by what you're saying and just kind of not going along with it, of course not, but just offering little things that they don't understand to say that maybe it's not all on the backs of one race or one religion. And then they try to explain to me why religion was created for power and money. And I agree with them, but I can't really explain to them in detail what, the truth is, because they're too drunk. And they only want to talk. They want to rant and vent. And I tell them, I say, I do my ranting on my YouTube channel. And that's why I do not get into all these arguments and try to hash out what's wrong with the world when I'm trying to relax. And they don't watch. And that's annoying because they might get something out of it. They might see themselves in it, but I had to hear an awful lot of vitriol tonight from different people in the past few nights and kind of go along with it without saying you offend me, because I understand why they're frustrated, but they also sound like Nazis or they sound like nuts. Maybe there is human sacrifice, but lay it bare. If you're not going to lay it bare, then just let it go. People, I guess that's what we are, in general, do not have the gumption to lay bare the truth. So if you want to stay blind, don't complain. I rant on the YouTube. I let everybody else know what I think. But I also enjoy life, and I think my existence in my life has been extremely fortunate. I've been one of the luckiest people in the world. And I'll tell you another reason why. Because my boss, who is a surgeon and ran for governor, if you go back in the diatribes, and makes money on the side, working with the courts to be an expert witness, who's always had money. Money's never been an object, buys a restaurant and says, I don't really care about making a profit, I just would like to break even because I want to run a restaurant. Fine. Well, he's traveled the world and he's given his kids everything, and I won't go into the details of his life because I don't know them and I don't want to. But he's lived the life of Riley, more or less, and now things are going bad. And I'm sorry they're going bad, but there's a saying that bigger they come, the harder they fall. It's like the higher you go up in the ladder, the more you're going to be injured if you fall. I'm very low on the ladder. I'm on the first rung. I've been happy with just ordinary things. A manufactured house with 4 bedrooms and a nice couple of blankets on my bed with 3 pillows. I'm happy with that. I got a library full of books. I got my piano. So I'm sorry his life is actually taking a turn for the worse, but it's just a life lesson that I'm the luckiest person in the world, and I don't have anything. I took all my winnings and I paid all my bills, so I'm at ease with myself as far as that goes. But I have nothing and I'm happy. So I said nothing, but maybe I said something. It's just I had to get this off my chest because I have to see these people and it's torture sometimes. And I kind of like them. I mean, say what you want about white supremacists. I've known people that are like that. They have their philosophy, but they're not hateful. Some are. Some are the worst, and I wouldn't want to come within 2 miles of them. But I've known people through the community that I can tell that they are Kluxers. But, to each his own, okay? That's the Constitution, the First Amendment. You have a right to your opinion even if I disagree with you. I'm not going to associate with you too much, but I'm not going to... There's only a few hills I'll die on, and that's not one of them. So I'll leave it there. It's a long one, and I said nothing. I'm sorry. Maybe you'll enjoy it. Maybe Nick will enjoy it. Thanks for coming by, and I hope I see you again soon. All right. Bye.